We are going to get started shortly. We're just letting in some folks in the room. This is a very sort of interesting power hour because I'm live also from Cape Town, South Africa. And I've got, as you see here in my Zoom, I've got a group of entrepreneurs here with me. And they were excited to join the power hour just so that they can connect and see who is here. We won't have time for you to meet them all, but I'm sure over time you'll be able to know who they are. And so I'm very excited to just do this power hour. This is our last power hour for the year. We do this every Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. It's 3:30 a.m. It's 3:30 p.m. here in South Africa in Cape Town. And I know you guys are on the east side is perhaps just getting up, but nonetheless excited to have a group of entrepreneurs here with us to enjoy the experience. So welcome. We're going to get started in the interest of time because that's very essential for us to kick things off. And so today we're going to be talking a lot about trade delegation and the opportunity and the importance of having these trade delegation. I lost count as to how many times we hear about trade delegations from whether it's government, from private entities, from chambers, from other organizations around the world who are constantly looking for ways to build up their network and to connect. And so I do have the honor to welcome or esteem Consul General for the Netherlands, Jacob here, and I will give him an opportunity to introduce himself. He is actually based in Atlanta, and so CG introduction, and then I'm going to also ask Claudine, who is our regional lead. I see Claudine is here. Uh, Claudine is our regional lead from the UK. I'm going to ask her to also introduce herself as well. I'll be expecting to have Henok and I'll be expecting to have Henok introduce herself as well when he joins the line. So CG, I'm going to I think CG is trying to reconnect the his audio. So just give him a chance here. CG, you there?
Yes, I'm there. I was disconnected. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So we would love to start with you with an introduction and tell us a little bit more about the role that you play and you know how important it is to have the Netherlands obviously participate and introduce to all of us.
Yes, thank you very much. And thank you for this opportunity. It is very exciting to be connected here from Atlanta to South Africa and to all your network here in Atlanta. My name is Jacob Verman. I'm the Dutch Consul General here in Atlanta. We cover the southeast of the United States with a strong focus on economic development. I'm a career diplomat. I started my career at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in 1992. So I'm already an old man, but still alive and kicking. Our main focus here in Georgia, what is our first focus here for the Southeast is economic diplomacy. So my whole staff of 11 is dedicated to support Dutch companies who want to do business in the Southeast, US companies who want to do business in the Netherlands and through the Netherlands to the rest of Europe, and also focus on knowledge to knowledge cooperation. So what we try is also to connect Dutch universities to universities here in the Southeast. And for Atlanta, that means that we have a strong connection with Georgia Tech, Georgia State, Emory, and also all the black colleges, including also Savannah State University, with which we started a cooperation a couple of months ago with focus on marine science as an example. What also is a strong focus of us is a focus on social economic cooperation. What we noticed is that a lot of entrepreneurs, especially from the black communities, that they are growing as startups and scale ups, but because of all different reasons, they need more tailor made support from us to enter foreign as international markets with their ambition to grow. So, what we offer is tailor made support to entrepreneurs in their ambition to grow internationally. And what if you ask me the question, what does this mean? Is that we sit around the table with startups, scale ups. We discuss with them what their ambition is, what they have to offer for the Dutch or the European ecosystem. And what we, of course, do is also present the Dutch sector's fields of excellence and to give insight and transparency about the Netherlands ecosystem. That's why I'm also so excited that you are, Ricardo, planning a European tour and that the Netherlands is part of this tour. That's what we also offer, support to entrepreneurs in organizing visits, missions to the Netherlands. What is very important for us to learn is the, uh, the profile of the companies. Ambition is important, but also what has the company to offer, and thus is this a match to our ecosystem? In other words, are there investors in the Netherlands? Are there counterparts in the Netherlands? Are there cities, regions in the Netherlands where we can match the companies and provide them with a tailor-made opportunity to land in the Netherlands, to sell their product, or to work with peer companies on innovation or well uh, whatever. So the preparation of a visit for me is key to success. The more preparation we can do, the better we can organize a visit, and the better the more peers, either private knowledge or public, we can include in this mission. And in organizing a trade visit, we work with our counterparts in The Hague, where in the Netherlands, our public federal sector is based in The Hague. Uh, there, there we start, but a strong connection is also with the different regions in the Netherlands. As you know, the Netherlands is a small country. The advantage of this is that the infrastructure and to travel uh, is kind of very easy, but also the interconnectivity between regions and what the regions have to offer, how their ecosystem looks like, is very transparent. So if a country's match is in the south or the center or the west or the east, that is part of the preparation and also part of the visit. We also have a strong connection with the US Embassy in The Hague, and most of the time they work with us in organizing a visit, organizing a roundtable at the embassy, offering their network, either knowledge or business network. Another strong partner is also the European American Dutch Chamber of Commerce. They have a strong network, and part of every mission is always a network meeting, uh, building up your network, a trusted network, and the people we invite for these network events. They are trusted partners of us. Um, and we always organize, if the profile of the company is very focused and very clear, direct matchmaking with possible partners or investors or whatever is necessary for the company to move abroad. I can give you an example, and I mentioned this like in the preparation half an hour ago to Ricardo. Um, Life sciences and health is a very strong sector in the Netherlands. And we supported an Atlanta company with a focus. That company has a focus on innovation, high-tech innovation, on aging population. And we organized a visit to the Netherlands for this company. We made connections to Dutch investors, and they were very interested, and they invested in this startup. It was not, it was just a startup. So not even a company ready to move to the Netherlands. No, a company looking for investment funding in Europe to grow. So he found his match, and already I think was supported twice with funding. And last week we supported this scale up in visiting Qatar, where we also introduced him to the Dutch embassy in Qatar. And through our Dutch embassy, he had a program meeting investors, peers in Qatar. And for me, that's an example how networking is important to become successful. What we also have here in the US is within the Dutch network, US wide, are two dedicated staff members who focus on scale ups. And they organize scale up delegations to the Netherlands and scale up delegations from the Netherlands to different regions of the United States. And here, uh, connection to the Black Chamber of Commerce, connection to other Chamber of Commerce, so the Metro Atlanta Chamber of Commerce. And Ricardo told me that you're in Cape Town also with the Metro Atlanta Chamber. What and the mayor, what for us are also very strong partners in this in our business to support companies. For us to be very concrete, what is important for us as a start of a visit to Europe, to the Netherlands, is that the profile and the ambition, short, mid, and maybe longer term of the company is as clear as possible. And for this, I always use the five W's and the two H's, like why, what, where, and when, and how. If you keep that in mind in preparing yourself in this visit, uh, I think that before you leave to Europe, that we can organize tailor-made programs. The Dutch ecosystem is very focused on innovation and sustainability. Uh, so the life sciences and health sector, the water sector, the supply chain sector, infrastructure sector. Um, the Netherlands is one of the big hubs to the rest of Europe. So in general, almost all sectors of innovation linked to sustainability are key sectors to the Netherlands. Of course, we are always very interested in companies who want to sell their products in the Netherlands. And part of my team here at the consulate are also very dedicated in helping companies in selling their products uh, to the Netherlands and via the Netherlands to the European market. As most of you may know, is that the infrastructure, the logistics, at the port of Rotterdam, the airport of Schiphol, of Amsterdam, are for many entrepreneurs who want to sell their products in Europe, the starting point of their quest to Europe. So what we can offer are transparent, free support, and that means that we are also very honest in our advice. If you want to sell a product what we think is not a match to the Dutch or to the European market, we also will let you know, because we also want to prevent a company to fail on the European market. And also for selling products at the European market, we provide companies with all the regulations, guidelines, etc., European guidelines, Dutch guidelines, to make it as transparent as possible to understand doing business abroad, to understand doing business with the Netherlands and the rest of Europe. And in this, we also have a very close relationship with chambers of commerce, consulates, embassies of other European countries, either within the European Union or in the case with the UK, outside of the European Union. Of course, we are competitors, but in the end, we know that we have to work together, and we work together. So if a match for a company is a better match, for example, in Germany or in Denmark or in Sweden or in Spain, that also can be the advice that we give. Well, this is, Ricardo, in overview what we do. I want to conclude with the message that our support is not ending after one visit. our support is a long-term support. So a first visit, a first meeting is only a start. We are working on a long-term cooperation with companies who have who want to do business in the Netherlands. We have a long-term cooperation with companies who decided to open a headquarters or a base in the Netherlands. That's what we do with the cities, the regions, the provinces in the Netherlands. So it's a strong cooperation with all stakeholders involved. Over to you, Ricardo.
Jacob, I think we lost a little connection there. So we're just trying to reestablish connection. I think you were ending with the information that your support is long term and it doesn't just end after a first visit. So thank you for sharing that. I did want to move quickly now to hear from Claudine. So for context, for those of us who are just joining in, welcome. I'm actually doing the Power Hour live from the city of Cape Town. And in the room, as you can see, we've got a couple of the Cape Town entrepreneurs that are gearing up to be a part of the Atlanta Black Chambers Global Opportunities Cape Town, South Africa chapters, not just Cape Town, but all over South Africa. And we're talking about trade delegations. We're talking about the importance of trade delegation. And you just heard from CG Veerman on the support that the Netherlands has committed to for entrepreneurs, particularly entrepreneurs also within our community. Now we want to hear from Claudine, who is our regional head of regional leadership for the UK. And so Claudine is not just the UK, but all of Europe, CG. And Claudine Reid is based in the UK, but she is responsible for all of our leaders right across Europe. And we just want to give her an opportunity to introduce herself and some of what she's been thinking through in terms of what trade delegation would mean from the Atlanta community into Europe. So Claudine, I'll give you an opportunity.
Awesome. Many thanks, Ricardo, and welcome to all of my South African Cape Town entrepreneurs, family and friends. So I'm a social entrepreneur. I'm based in the UK. I work with different industries, so mainly the banking sector. I support one of the largest banks in the United Kingdom. They're called Lloyds Bank. My role includes supporting the bank to support diverse entrepreneurs. And what we mean by that is women-led businesses or women-owned businesses, entrepreneurs from different communities, the Black community, Africa, the Caribbean, and entrepreneurs with a disability. I also support other organizations in terms of how they can connect and support those entrepreneurs to help their businesses to flourish. I'm really excited to be part of the Atlanta Black Chamber, the Global Opportunities Committee as the European lead. And I can see that I've got one of our most recent connections, Jareel from Holland. He's there just waving his hand. And really what we're doing at the moment is establishing connectivity across the Netherlands, across Germany, and across France. And what we're doing is looking to identify who those entrepreneurs are in those respective jurisdictions so that we can get a real flavor, like the previous speaker was talking about. We're wanting to get a real flavor of the types of businesses that people are running, and then what is the practicalities of a joint venture or the practicalities of strengthening those partnerships. So for example, if there was somebody in the Netherlands, Jareel's on the line, if there was somebody from the Atlanta Chamber, if there was anybody, Ricardo, who's in Cape Town in the group that you're with, they may want to establish their organizations in the countries where I am or where any of our European partners are. that's really about the strengthening that partnership, strengthening those relationships, understanding and sharpening our cultural competencies or our cultural understanding in terms of the way how we do business. And one of the easiest quick win ways to do that is to partner with somebody. And that's why networking is so important. That's why trade missions are so important, because I think regardless of the jurisdiction or the country that we are in, people do business with people who they know, like, and trust, especially from entrepreneurs. People do business with people who they know, like, and trust. So we want to use the trade mission. We want to use these types of platforms to increase our connectivity. Like the previous speaker spoke about, many entrepreneurs who I speak about across the world. So in my role, I'm also a business mentor. I speak with entrepreneurs in the Caribbean. Everyone's talking about innovation. Everyone's talking about tech and sustainability and green businesses. We're looking at how can we then, as small or medium-sized entrepreneurs, enhance or add value to the broader international ecosystems. And I think based on our region, based on where we are, there are some quick wins that we can connect the dots, that if we have a fuller or a better understanding of the way how we do business in these respective jurisdictions, then we can create the legal or the governing documents that will direct our types of business relationships that we have. And so those are the things that we are working on in the European side. And I'm hoping that in the first quarter of 2025, and I'm saying that like it's miles away, it's in 20 days time, in the first quarter of next year, I'm really hoping that we can start solidifying our relationships, start having more and deeper conversations, and having a better understanding of the types of entrepreneurs that are in our ecosystem, and then really tapping into the innovation, the sustainability, the tech, the green businesses that we can then use and start increasing our influence, our impact, and more importantly, our income, because it's those things that lead to job creation. It's those things that lead to community and generational wealth and ultimately sustainability. Thanks, Ricardo.
Thank you, Claudine. And I want to I appreciate that, and I want to ask both of you if you can kind of weigh in a little bit too on profile. So you both talk a little bit about business profile and making sure that the business profile. CG, you talk about the clarity of the business profile. Can you explain to what is a business profile and why is it so important, especially when you are going on these trade delegation? And any one of you can take it, and I'd love to hear both of your perspectives anyways.
Well, it's important also, from a general perspective, you also want to organize a trade delegation where you bring together a group of entrepreneurs who also have within the visit a match with each other. It's very difficult to bring different levels of entrepreneurs in one visit for 1 or 2 weeks on a tour. But first of all, what is important for us to know is, in general, what is the status of the company at the moment. So the facts and figures about the company. What is how the size, the product they want to sell, or the innovation they are working on, but also the drive behind the company, the heart and soul of the company. That's maybe even more important. So it's about the facts and the figures, but it's also what is driving this entrepreneur in doing business. So it's the hard side and the soft side. And secondly, the more the entrepreneur knows what their added value to the market is. So what we also expect is that they themselves do their homework, their market research, that they can answer this question of what do I need, with whom do I want to connect, what kind of network do I looking for. If you are looking for investment money, that's a whole different ball game than when you are looking for a place somewhere in Europe to land where you want to grow your business. When you want to open a headquarters, that's a whole different um, um, process than when you want to open a warehouse, when you want to sell a specific product. The question is, what kind of product? Who are your competitors? That's the basic information you have to prepare as an entrepreneur, and there we can support. So it's all about content, hard content, facts and figures, but please combine it with the heart and soul of the entrepreneur, and then focus and specify on the specific goals you want to achieve. Claudia, maybe you can add from your perspective, and maybe Claudia, you have, I think, much more insight in the finance and the banking side of the story, because that's maybe a third element what is also very important to consider for startups and scale-ups. Keep in mind that still the failing factor of a startup and a scale-up is very high. So the financial stability, growth of an organization, the structure of a company is also very important to focus on. Claudia, over to you.
Thank you, CG. I think I'd echo everything that you have said. It's really important for entrepreneurs to have a really clear understanding and be able to talk about the metrics of their business. So in terms of size, what's your annual turnover? What's your profit margins? What's the legal status of your business, the legal structure? How many employees do you have? Are they paid employees? Do you have to pay? In the UK, we have a system called PAYE. It stands for pay as you earn, which means as an entrepreneur, I have to pay the taxes on behalf of my employees. Do you have a system like that? Or do you have volunteers? Having a very clear understanding about your product or service. And also, I think CG spoke about this really well, about understanding the value proposition that you are bringing and where your business is on that entrepreneurial journey. Are you at startup phase? Are you at growth phase? Are you at scale phase? Or have you been running your business for 30 years and you're ready to exit? And when I say exit, maybe you want to sell it on to somebody else. Maybe you've like, look, I've had enough. I've been doing this for 30 years. I just want to do something different. It's very important to know where you are on that journey and understand, where do you see your business fitting in the wider ecosystem. I kind of want to put it like this in three ways to try and make it easier to remember. Number one would be clarity of vision. What does your vision do? What does your business do? And the vision for the business is one thing, but also you as the entrepreneur, you might be the chairman or the chief exec or the most senior person in your business. What is the vision that you have for yourself and also for your business? The second thing I'd like you to consider about understanding your business profile is your strategic approach. Understanding the market is really important. We need to be very culturally sensitive. Perhaps there are things that would work well in the Caribbean that may not work very well in Europe, that may work very well in Atlanta. So just doing some market research, and CG spoke about this. And then the last thing I'd like you to think about as you profile your business is the impact framework. Most organizations, regardless of size, are talking about their ESG. ESG stands for environmental, social, and governance. What does your business do to offset any carbon footprint, to support or add value to the environment? We're talking about climate change, water, we're talking about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and how does our businesses impact or contribute to the management of those UN goals? From a social perspective, how is your business impacting the local economy, the local environment? Are you creating job opportunities? I was doing a piece of work in the Caribbean, and one of the things that was really quite noteworthy was that any organization that was coming into the Caribbean had to make a commitment to employ local people. So it's one thing to say I want to do business in the Netherlands, but I'm going to bring all my staff from Atlanta. There's no growth. There's no local growth. Or if I say I'm going to bring my entire team from the UK into Atlanta or into Cape Town, there has to be some local benefit. All the money that's generated in the country can't then be taken out of the country. We've got to leave it in there. So it's really important to understand the impact, the clarity of vision, the strategic approach that you're wanting your business to take, as well as the hardcore things about your financials and the legal status of the business.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And so understanding the business profile, understanding what the business profile constitute, this is really, really helpful. And it's helpful for yourself, but also for the other people that you're going to be meeting, because they're coming to the table with a well-rounded business profile, and they would like to see a well-rounded business profile from you. And I want to talk about the difference in culture as well. So I want to ask you, because people have these expectations that they'll come to the table with something and then there may be some surprises. Can you talk about some of the nuances that typically occurs, CG perhaps and Claudine, around what happens when there is a culture to Europe, or where I am here in Cape Town and Atlanta, etc.? What happens with some of those cultural nuances, and how does it affect the kind of expectation that you can have for success on these delegations?
Well, yes, the cultural differences in doing business is always part of the preparation of a trade visit. You cannot do without. The Dutch are known for a very straightforward approach that can be a little bit, well, overwhelming for countries or entrepreneurs who have a more, a different approach. To be prepared is again here what is important. I'm happy, Ricardo, that you bring this up, because this is part of the preparation. And when you look at Europe, doing business in Europe, in Germany, in the UK, in the Netherlands, in Belgium, it's different from doing business in the United States. But when you look at the United States, it's a huge country. Doing business in California is another ball game than doing business here in the Southeast. So what we also expect from entrepreneurs is that there is awareness, and again, preparation. That's said, it's here again, you have this part of the hardcore cultural differences in doing business, but also all about based on building up network, building up relationships, building up trusts, reply and don't. What is the worst thing that can happen is that after a trade visit, people go back to business as usual and don't give follow-up to the people they talk to their network. So fast reply, fast response, and showing that you are willing to invest in this network and in this relationship is important, and that can be part of culture, but it's part of doing business. You have to take this cultural part of doing business you have to take it very serious, and uh, it can be a success factor. It can be also a huge factor of failure. If you trust is a very important part of doing business. Over to you, Claudia.
Thank you again, CG. I mean, again, I would echo everything that you have said. There's a key saying that we have. The success is in the preparation. So when we talk about cultural sensitivity and cultural nuances, one of the key things to bear in mind is that Europe, as a landmass, has very different features when you compare this with the US. So, for example, if you're thinking about doing business in any one of the 4 countries, let's just take Holland, Germany, France, and the UK. We all speak 4 different languages. That's a start. And it's not that you've got to go and learn those languages, because thankfully for me, the UK English is the international business language. But the thing that you'd have to then take into consideration is the people who you want to speak to, where is their level of English and their level of understanding? So can you communicate with them? Can they communicate with you? Do you need an interpreter? I was doing some business with Hong Kong, and they brought a delegation over to my office, and we actually could not speak until the interpreter came into the room. I don't know Mandarin. They couldn't speak English. And so those little things. And I guess whenever we go to other countries, we'll try and do a little bit of research, right? We're not going to learn a whole vocabulary in a short space of time. But those are some of the nuances to take into consideration. And then everything that CG said about trust, about follow-up. The follow-up is super important, right? You're going to go to a new country for 7 days, 3 days, 5 days. You're not going to necessarily do everything in that time period. Then we also want to take into consideration the time zones that people work in. Every time I speak to the team in Atlanta or in the Caribbean, I have to think to myself, I've actually changed the settings on a very practical level. I've included the settings on my mobile phone to have the world clock on there. So whatever time I say is in GMT, Greenwich Mean Time, or British Standard Time, I can see what time it is in Europe, I can see what time it is in Atlanta. And then of course, across the States, they've got about 3 or 4 different timelines that you have to take into consideration. So I might want to make a call, and then I've got to remember, actually, the UK is 5 hours ahead. No, you don't really want to be calling anyone at 3 o'clock in the morning. So just to be taking those things into consideration. And back to the first statement that I made, the success is in the preparation. This here is the preparation. These types of conversations, coming to the power hour, hearing CJ speak, hearing me speak, connecting up with any of the opportunities that are online. And then you get the opportunity to ask questions. That asking the questions is part of your preparation, so that when you then arrive physically in those regions, you would have already had conversation, you would have already got used to my accent. Maybe if you're speaking to people in the north of England, their accent is far heavier than mine. You might have the opportunity to speak to those types of people. So by the time you get there, you've kind of acclimatized and you can kind of navigate your way through. But just on a very basic level, the success of your trade mission is going to be based on your preparation, everything that you do before you arrive in that country.
Thank you. Thank you both, CJ and Claudine. And that's very powerful in terms of just making sure that this is a part of the preparation. So folks, if you have any questions, just let me know, because then we're getting into that Q&A piece where our friends here from Cape Town or anyone online, if you have any questions at all, then you can probably just raise your hand, and then we'll just indicate to you if you have any questions on the trade delegation piece. So the other question that I have is, so we talk a lot about sort of the importance of making a connection. It's easy to collect a business card and it's easy to scan a QR code to get people's contact. And sometimes it's the last and only time we've seen it for probably years or probably months. And it sits in our phone and nothing actually happens. And when you go on Trade Delegation, this happens a lot. People want to connect with you and people want to exchange your information. But the opportunity to go beyond making a connection and building a relationship, how do you build relationships, and how do you, from those relationships, extract opportunities that you can do business with? Can you talk a little bit about those cadences and why it's important to go beyond just the collecting phone numbers and collecting email addresses?
I'm happy to go first on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So back to my original point, that people do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And so if you think about it a little bit like like dating, there are not very many people in our social circles who will say they met somebody for the very first time and after a 1 hour conversation, they went and got married. Maybe they spoke a bit, they had more conversations. They spoke a bit more about their future. They spoke about what they, envision 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. If you think about it from a relationship perspective, it's very similar to business building perspective. In order to better understand what somebody is bringing to the table, that takes conversation, that takes due diligence. And in that conversation, you're doing your due diligence. You're finding out a bit more about the business, about the value statement of the business, about the vision of the business, about the assets and the liabilities of the business. You're finding out about the region that you want to do business in, and more importantly, the person, who's the chief exec, who's the chairman, who's the chief representative of that business. Is there synergy in those types of relationships? All of that can happen. And I think since the global pandemic, we've all kind of become accustomed to doing business in a very different way. So having Zoom or Teams meetings on a regular basis, and I say regular, it doesn't have to be every day. If you had a set day and time once a fortnight or something like that, whatever works with your schedule, so that you can keep up to date, you can follow each other on a very practical, low cost level. You could follow each other on LinkedIn, right? You can see what they're up to. You can see what's happening in their social spaces. Because the thing about business, and what the pandemic taught all of us, is that the more you increase your visibility is the more that you can build your connectivity across different regions. So you can update your LinkedIn profile. That's only going to cost you your own personal time. You could start by connecting with everybody who's on this Zoom call today. You could start nurturing that relationship by creating content pieces or content posts about what did you learn. You met with CG and Claudine, these are the key takeaways. You tag us into your post. That's one way of developing connectivity. So by the time we actually meet each other face to face, you kind of feel like you know each other because you've been following them on social media, you've been seeing the things that they've been doing, you've been hearing the things, you've been commenting on their post. And I think those are low cost, easy to implement ways that you can start determining whether or not I want to do business with this person. If you saw that I was, involved in some sort of business that went against your personal values, you might say, I've seen her social media post. I'm not too sure that I want to be trading in arms, or, obviously I don't do that. But you can see and follow and learn whilst those types of whilst you're able to make those connections.
Yes, Ricardo, if I may, what entrepreneurs have to understand is that networking and building up your network and maintaining your network is part of your business. And you have to develop these skills. Going to a traditional network event, walking around and drinking a white wine is fun, but keep in mind that preparation again here, knowing what you have to offer, having your pitch ready, and know what you want to achieve at this event is hard work. It's fun, it can be fun, but it's part of your business concept. Have your pitch ready. When you meet somebody, you have to have your elevator pitch ready. What do I have to offer, and what do I supply and demand? That's part of your job, networking, maintaining your network and building up your network. It's also business. When I look at myself as a diplomat, I go to network events, God knows how many times a week. It's fun, but for me, it's business. When you go to an event and you know who is there, prepare yourself. Most of the time you don't know who is there. Scan the room and try to focus. uh, and what I learned after 32 years, don't drink too much. Don't drink too much. Just have a glass of water, because it's business. It's not like, uh, yes, it can be fun, but it's part of your business.
Thank you, thank you. That's a great. I'm sure everyone will remember that, CG. Don't drink too much. And on that note, we actually have a winemaker here in Cape Town who wanted to share a comment. And so I'm going to give her a chance to share the comment, because she actually makes wine, so she's already like wanting to talk to you already. So said maybe you guys can have a conversation. But go ahead with your comment real quick. I think it's related to the UK. Please say your name and what it is that you do, and go ahead.
My name is Nondumiso Pikasha. I am the founder of Sespigele Wines. We tick all the boxes in terms of quality, capacity to supply, and sustainability. So we are currently exporting to the US as well as the UK. I'm sure you are familiar with Ellis of Richmond, Claudine. Please look out for this beautiful wine, dynamic brand, Ellis of Richmond in the UK.
Sorry, say that word again.
Ellis of Richmond, as in Ellis, ELLIS of Richmond.
Ellis of Richmond. Okay. Do you know where it's stocked?
It's stocked at all the outlets.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
She has wine that's stocked at all the Ellis of Richmond. So
That's what Ellis of Richmond. Check what wine lines they have from different wine producing regions.
Okay, I'll check, but that sounds very interesting. Ellis of Richmond. I'll look it up.
Okay. Thank you so much. Your message, CG, resonates. We say in the wine space, appreciate wine responsibly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Do we have any questions from anyone in the virtual sphere things? I saw a hand up earlier. I'm not sure who it was, but did you have any?
I think
Go
it was
ahead.
me. Yeah, it was Gerald.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi all. I'm Gerald. I'm based in the Netherlands. I'm running kind of a social enterprise, so commercially at the same time making impact. I was listening to Jacob just now about the focus on the Netherlands. My question was, is it also vice versa? Ways to get into the US space from the Netherlands or part of your divisions of your organization to penetrate the American market?
Yes, it's also vice versa. An important part of what we do is supporting Dutch business to the US, and for this, you can reach out to our office in Atlanta, but we also have like a same office in New York, Washington, of course, with the embassy, also an economic department. We have an office in Chicago, we have an office in Los Angeles, in San Francisco, and in Houston. So as the other European countries, the diplomatic and economic network is very strong. And again, for entrepreneurs who want to enter the US market, all what we discussed in the past
Applies.
hour
Yeah.
applies. Yes.
Yeah. Makes sense. Thank you very much for your answer. So I can have you as a reference going in.
Yes, and you can also trust that sending me an email, if it does not apply for the Southeast, I will introduce entrepreneurs to other parts of the US and even to other parts of the world.
Cool.
The diplomatic and economic networks of most European countries are very strong.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for the question. Great one. And we have we have David, your hand is up. David, please go ahead.
Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon from East Africa, where I currently am. Thank you so much, Mr. Barris. Jacob, I think this goes to you, or maybe Jarell, if you could help. Europe hasn't been so open-handed as to the mining industry from Africa. What's the status like? Has that changed a little bit? I mean, everything that we bring from this side, even if it's 99.9% bullion, that is, refined to the crisp, it isn't received as 99% bullion regardless. Is there some, networks that you see, some corporations that we see, work together with to make sure that we don't have to incur double costs on, I mean, this is a rather specific question to the mining industry. That's partly where I operate. Is the attitude towards minerals from Africa changing a little bit?
I don't know too much about the mining industry, David, but I'm happy to take the question away and look a bit further into that and come back to you.
Well, thank you.
The same is true. The same for me. But again, the lesson, and that's one of the lessons I think Claudine and myself have to give to entrepreneurs is again, focus on your sector and prepare yourself, because, well, maybe the mining sector, and I don't have the answer here at the moment, but there are sectors who are difficult for entrepreneurs to enter the European market. Yes. So in that case, it's better to look for other markets than the European market. But that's all part of building up your intelligence about a specific sector in a specific country, or maybe within the European Union or the UK as a whole. That can be the case, yes.
Okay, and Claudine, do you have any representative in Denmark? There is some construction technology that we've been inquiring about there. We
In Denmark?
Yes.
I'm not sure. I'm not too sure about the mining industry. I can again go back and double check. So I've put my LinkedIn details in the chat, maybe just connect with me there and then I can do some research offline and come back to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you otherwise for all the information you've given. Thank you so much, Jack. Thank you.
Awesome. We have one final question because we're out of time, and then we're gonna get your last remarks, CG, and your comment, Claudine, on advice going forward, and as we think about our delegation for March. So you want to go ahead and this is from one of our person here in Cape Town.
Good afternoon. My name is Lelo Nahoro, and I sell mango acha, which is a South African condiment that cuts across all South African cultures. But I'd just like to know, are there any opportunities for entrepreneurs like myself who sell African food products and also like African pieces? As you can see, I'm wearing my African attire here. Are there opportunities for such? Thank you.
Well, the first advice I can give you is that if you want to sell products from South Africa to the European market or to the UK, reach out to our colleagues in Cape Town. I'm 100% sure that both the Netherlands and the UK have economic departments in Cape Town who can help you and can support you in finding all the answers to the questions you might have. That's my answer. My answer to you. Maybe Claudine, you have more advice, but that for me, that would be the first step.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely reach out to find out what the kind of nuances may look like and what the trading standards what the licenses would be, especially if it's going to be around food items. But right now, sorry, I missed your name.
Lelo.
Lelo, Baba Lelo. So short for Lelo.
Okay, Lelo. African food and Caribbean food is on the increase right now. If you look at my LinkedIn post, I think it was yesterday's LinkedIn post, I was at an award ceremony for the Caribbean food industry. It is worth around £1 million in the UK. That's just the Caribbean food industry. I haven't totaled. I think they said the African food was about £1.2 billion. But right now, cultural sensitivity, different types of food, cultural awareness is on the increase, especially from as people become more fluid in terms of where they can live and the pockets of migration and how people navigate their way through different locations. So finding those partners and potentially doing some research around what food items or what items are already in existence, and then how can you add value to the wider ecosystem.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, both of you. And this is exactly why we created the Global Opportunities Committee of the Atlanta Black Chamber, right? To exchange information, to make connection, and to really drive the needle forward so we can grow our businesses. Any last words from both of you? I know we're out of time. Any last piece of advice that you'd give as individuals on the call or pondering about, should I be a part of this delegation? Should I be a part of any delegation at all? Your last piece of advice, both maybe Claudine, and then we'll finish with you, CG.
Yeah, absolutely. Should you be part of this advice? Do you want to breathe? Of course, right? This is the lifeblood for every entrepreneur. You want to increase your connectivity, you want to increase your network, and one of the easiest ways, low-cost ways of doing this is by coming on the call, linking up with people on LinkedIn, and you can start your research there. You could allocate yourself on a very, very practical level, literally 10 to 15 minutes every day, go on LinkedIn and see what's happening in that country that you want to get into. Find other entrepreneurs, connect up with them, see what they're doing, follow what they're doing. That's very, very easy thing to do. And ultimately what that leads to is your ability to increase your capacity for more influence, more impact, more income.
Fantastic. CG?
Yes, and maybe too. You have to be committed. So go for it. And international business is tough. So there will be also disappointment. It's not like always a success story. So be prepared and be prepared for a long-term investment. These are my two advices. So there will be disappointments, but when you are committed and you invest in building up your network, you are looking for when you look for trusted partnerships and you are focused on a long-term investment, and you know your market, you know your added value, you know what you have to offer. And again, a lot of entrepreneurship is also very strongly connected with passion and the will to also the social economic an environmental will to offer the world your added value. So it's not only hard business. And that's what you see more and more worldwide, that entrepreneurship is strongly connected with the what we called in the past the soft side of doing business. Claudine mentioned this also earlier, and I want to applaud this. The link to the social development goals of the United Nations, linked to sustainability, also the added value you have to the challenges we are all facing in nowadays world.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much to both of you for your time today. Thank you for everyone that you were able to be a part of the call. This is really great that the call has been recorded, so hopefully we'll be able to get you an opportunity to listen to it. If you guys have not already, please go to the AtlantaBlackChambers.org. You can learn more about the chamber, you can learn more about the Global Opportunities Committee, and then you can make the decision if it's a good fit for you. And we'll, until next time, this is our last call for the year, so we want to wish you, on behalf of all of our team here in GOC and ABC, happy holidays and a happy new year. I mean, I'm sure you're going to see more of that coming through social media, but from a Zoom perspective, you know, we want to make sure we give that information out to you. So grateful to you, CG and Claudie, and for everyone who attended, and of course to our live audience here in Cape Town that celebrated with us for this delegation. Thank you so much, and we look forward to more Power Hour. I think the next Power Hour is coming up in January, so be on the lookout. Stay tuned to our LinkedIn, follow us on social to see what's happening, and bid you guys a good rest of your day. I think it's now almost 5 o'clock. It's minutes to 5 here, so we're a little bit like Claudine ahead of time in terms of our day. But have the rest of your day all a great day, and we'll speak again soon. Thank you so much, CG. Thank you, Claudine. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.